Let's talk about this Uber stock price. What up, internet world? It's your boy Jermaine, back with another video. Yesterday's video, I'm on the fence about where I'm gonna travel to, and I'm not gonna talk about any of my travel plans in this video. I'm just gonna talk about Uber in this video. But yo, Uber. Let's talk about this Uber stock price. I've been in the Facebook groups and I've noticed that there are a lot of Uber drivers that are very, very happy. They're very, very excited to see that Uber's share price is falling greatly. You know, myself on the other hand, I'm not excited, I'm not happy to see their share price dropping, because I know a lot of drivers who have invested a lot of money in Uber. I don't think this was a good idea, but still, I know a lot of people that did invest a lot of money in Uber, and I kind of feel bad for them that their holdings are going down. However, this is Uber, and let's just talk about Uber, because I also see that there's a lot of people that are saying that this is what Uber gets. This is what Uber deserves. Uber has been ripping off drivers for years, and now Uber is finally getting ripped off by the markets. And honestly, this is not how the markets work. This is not how the markets work. Just because Uber has did this and did that and did this and did that to drivers doesn't mean that the market is gonna take it out on Uber because Uber did wrong things. Guys, this is not how the stock market works. One thing we can say about the Uber stock price, let's just look at the overall market. Yesterday, Monday in the US, the freaking stock market was down massively. Pretty much all of my portfolios were down 5%. 5% is not a good number to be down. 5% is pretty bad, especially when you're going down. I wish it was 5% going up, but yeah. So the reason why the US stock market is sort of low right now is because of the US-China tariff situation. And I don't know if you guys are aware, but you know, your American homeboy, if you guys don't know who I'm talking about when I say your American homeboy, I'm talking about 45, I'm talking about Donald Duck, I'm talking about Donald Trump. So once again, if you're an Uber driver and you're trying to figure out, oh yes, the stock price is falling, well, you must understand the overall picture of not just Uber, but just the stock market in general and the whole Chinese tariffs, US tariffs. So on last Friday, the American president put 25% tariffs on China, and I don't think a lot of people exactly know what the 25% tariffs mean. So the US imports a lot of things from China. Majority of the cheap stuff that we use come from China. So what happens when things are made in China? They're made in China, they're put on boats, and then they're shipped to the US. Once they're shipped to the US, it goes through customs, and this is where the tariffs are being paid here. Tariffs are paid in the US, and American companies pay these tariffs. Now on the flip side, Chinese companies have sort of taken a large hit of the tariffs, at least for the 10% tariffs. What Chinese companies have did, instead of charging $100 for this product, maybe they'll charge $90 for this product. So once these products get to the US, now the US company pays the 10% tariffs, and the prices don't go up for American consumers on imported things from China. So roughly, China has been on 10% tariffs for a few months now, and no one has really noticed it in the US because China and Chinese companies have been biting the bullet on these tariffs, not your American consumer. Now, if I go to the store and something costs $1,000 and it says $1,000 plus $100 more for tariff, that's going to cost me $1,100. Now, when I look at that price, I'm going to think, wow, okay, that $100 is going somewhere else. But remember, last Friday, the tariffs increased to 25%. So who's gonna bite the bullet now? Will it be the American consumers? Will it be the Chinese manufacturers? Who's gonna bite the bullet? This is a really good question. And this is why the overall stock market is in turmoil. You have a lot of American companies that need to make profits in China so those American companies can grow. For example, Apple. Apple sells phones all over the world. Apple also sells phones in China, but China is a very, very large market for Apple. And if Apple could sell more iPhones in China, that would make a lot more money for Apple, which is an American company. Now, back to Uber, because now I'm just taking you guys all around the world, US, China, trade, tariffs, Trump, this, that, back to Uber. Uber is just IPO'd at a very bad time, I would say. If Uber would not have IPO'd last week, if Uber would have IPO'd maybe a month ago, or if Uber would have waited a month from now to IPO, I think things would be a lot different for Uber. But they are definitely feeling a lot of the pain right now in their stock price. And another thing I should let you Uber drivers know, just because a stock price goes down does not mean that this is a bad thing. If you are an investor and you have faith in this company and you see the stock price go down, this is a really good time to invest. This is a really good time to buy more shares in this company. One company that I invest in is Tesla, and Tesla just hit its 52-week low. I have a lot of faith in Tesla. I believe that Tesla will be very, very big in the future. So when I see Tesla's share price fall like it did, it wasn't just Tesla's share price that fell hard yesterday. It was tons of companies that fell hard yesterday. That's just the name of the game. It wasn't just Tesla's share price that fell hard yesterday. It was a handful of stocks that just fell hard yesterday. That's just the name of the game. Some days in the markets we have really good days, and some days in the markets we have pretty bad days. And yesterday wasn't the best day in the market. However, bad days don't last forever, and who knows, in 2-3 weeks from now, I believe the stock market will recover. I don't necessarily know about Uber. Uber and Lyft, they're very, very different companies. When I look at Uber, I look at a company that brought us something that we didn't know that we needed. And Uber didn't really invent anything. They just took things and brought them together. Uber saw that, okay, you have tons of people over here that have cars. They're not driving their cars. You also have people that need money over here. You have people over here that need rides, and they don't have cars. So how can we put all of these people together? Because all of these people have cell phones, and we just have to figure out a way to connect people that need rides with people over here that have cars, and people that have time, and people that, want to make money. We just need to put these people together, and bam, we have a business. So Uber has brought us a business that most of us had no idea that we need. But nowadays, if you look at a lot of big cities, nowadays it has changed cities so much. I know so many people that used to drive to go to dinner, and when they get in their car from dinner, they have to drive home. And what do people usually do when they have dinner? They drink. But now it's a whole different playing field. Now you can request an Uber from your house, get dropped off at the restaurant. You don't have to look for a parking spot at the restaurant. You don't have to pay for valet. You don't have to worry about your car getting broken into. You can get dropped off at the front door of the restaurant. And then when you're done eating, when you're done drinking, after you've had plenty to drink, you shouldn't be driving, you can request an Uber and get dropped off right at your house again. I think that's great. I think that's brilliant. I don't think that Uber's going to go away anytime soon. I do imagine a world of Uber having more competition. There are a lot of other companies that are trying to beat Uber to the punch with driverless cars, and I believe that Uber may not be the first to roll out with a 100% driverless car, because Uber doesn't make cars. They're just a platform. And if Uber wants to be a rideshare company, and in the future they want to, do autonomous rides, they're going to have to start building cars. Because who are they going to buy cars from? You take a company like GM. GM, they're working on their own autonomous car program. And you think GM's going to sell driverless cars to Uber? I don't think that's going to work that way. You think Tesla's going to sell driverless cars to Uber? I don't think that Tesla's going to sell driverless cars to Uber, because why would they sell driverless cars to Uber when they could use those same driverless cars and make their own version of Uber? I feel that Uber will experience a handful of bumpy roads up ahead. Another thing about Uber compared to Lyft, Uber is way more diverse versus Lyft. Now, on the flip side, just because one company is more diverse than another company doesn't mean that bigger company is more profitable. Uber has way more liabilities versus Lyft. Lyft is in less markets. Lyft has to battle less markets. And it's a little bit easier for Lyft to sort of thrive. But Uber has their hands in way more pots than Lyft. Lyft is basically a rideshare platform, and I think they have a couple bikes and a couple scooters in a few random cities. Uber, on the other hand, has a pretty long portfolio of products that they make money with, from Uber Freight, from Uber Eats, from UberX, from Uber Pool, from Uber Black. In some markets, there's Uber Limo. You can request a limo This is, I believe, in the Palm Springs area. You can still request a Uber limo. I know you could more than a year ago. But yeah, Uber has their hands in so many pots. They're just doing this and they're doing that. This Uber stock price, I wouldn't just trip on it. If you guys want to invest in Uber for the future, if you really, really see faith in Uber, if you really want to ride out this wave with Uber, do it if that's what you want to do. Follow your dreams, follow your heart. Me, I'm going to stay away from Uber. I'm going to hang out on the back burner. I'm just going to watch how this whole thing unfolds. There are a lot more IPOs that will happen later this year. Airbnb is going to be a really, really big IPO. And hopefully when Airbnb launches their IPO, we're not in the middle of a Chinese-US trade war, because a Chinese-US trade war definitely takes a toll on the stock market, like definitely. When Trump tweeted last week talking about how the tariffs are going to go up, the Chinese stock market fell 5% off of a freaking tweet, yo. Like a tweet, like billions and billions and billions of dollars just evaporated into thin air. So in other words, if you're out there and you're starting a company and you want to IPO that company, just don't IPO during just don't IPO during a Chinese-US trade war. Like, it won't be the best idea ever. And if you're out there and you are still driving for Uber and you feel that Uber has done you wrong, and you feel that Uber has did this and Uber has did that, and Uber is just an unfair company, question, why do you still drive for Uber? And Uber is just an unfair company, question, why do you still drive for Uber? Like, why? If I bought an iPhone and it stopped working, just randomly, it just stopped working, and I go out and buy another iPhone, and it just randomly stopped working, and I go out and buy another iPhone, question, who's the fool? Is it me or is it Apple? Okay? Who's the fool in this situation? The phone is not working, and I'm going to go out and buy another one, and it doesn't work. I'm going to go out and buy another one. Is Apple the fool? I don't think Apple's the fool. I think Apple's smart because Apple's making money off of me. I'm the fool because I keep going and doing the same thing over and over and over. And a lot of Uber drivers are doing the same exact thing. They don't make money in their markets, but they just keep trying. They just, I'm just going to go out and work Friday night. Maybe I'll make $300, and then you're stuck making $60. Uber is not profitable in every city. It's not profitable in every market. This is just how it goes. I don't make these rules. Uber don't make these rules. I mean, if it doesn't work, don't do it. If it's not broken, don't fix it. And for a lot of Uber drivers, your Uber earnings and your Uber potential is broken, and you just need to fix it. And sitting back and talking about the stock price and how this is payback for Uber, it's actually not payback for Uber. I don't think a lot of people realize when companies IPO, I'm just going to give this simple example. 5 years ago, I hear about Uber, and I have tons of money. So I give $1 million to invest in Uber. And I know that eventually Uber's going to go public, and this is when I'll make my money off of Uber. Now, when people invest money into startups, they're looking to make a lot of money. They're looking at 10 times, 15 times the money that they put in. Because a lot of times when people invest in IPOs, a lot of times when people invest in startups, they don't invest in just one startup. They invest in 10 startups. And they know that some startups are going to do bad, and some startups are going to do very, very well, and they're going to make their money off the ones that do very, very well. So in Uber's situation, I'm an investor and I have $1 million and I want to invest in Uber. This is 5 years ago. So now Uber goes public. Now I'm just going to give random numbers here. So I invested $1 million in Uber. Now when Uber goes public, Uber share price is $45 a share. And just a random number, I have 1 million shares of Uber. Now, my total investment 5 years later is worth $45 million. Now, I only invested $1 million 5 years ago. Now, it's worth $45 million when Uber goes public. Now, when Uber went public, the shares were $45 a share, and the stock price tumbled right after that. So right after that, the stock price started to fall. But that investor that invested the $1 million 5 years ago, he doesn't care about the stock price falling. If the stock price falls to $20 a share, he's still gonna make 20 times what he put in. Just imagine if Uber's share price went the other way during its IPO. Instead of going down, imagine if the share price would have went up. Like Beyond Meat. Oh my gosh, Beyond Meat literally had an insane pop the first day, but this is definitely not Uber's situation. Anyway, I want to make a video talking about the Uber share price, and just because their share price is falling doesn't mean that this is bad for Uber, doesn't mean that this is good for Uber. It's just the overall market is down because of US-China tariffs, but at the same time, Uber also has its own problems, and that could be another reason why Uber is down. Yesterday, Uber was down, more like 11% or something? Oh my gosh. But there's also a lot of stocks down 4+%, 5%. So Uber wasn't the only stock having a very bad day. This is Uber's second day as a public traded company, and it wasn't a great day, but at the same time, we got these tariffs, yo. Anyway, I'm done with this video. Like, comment, subscribe. Peace out, yo.